Hello, it's me, Annalisa, with my little friend. I am back. It's Sunday, the 26th of March. Can you believe we're almost in April? It is springtime. Time is like super fast. I don't know what happened. I hope everybody is well. Sorry, it was a busier day than expected. Another Girl Scout weekend. I was really cute yesterday. We had something at our local zoo for the Girl Scouts where they could learn about animals and how they care for them and keep them mentally, physically, and emotionally happy and all their activities and interactions. And they got to see some of the live animals. And there was a lizard named Barb. Hello, hello. Hi, Rosemary. Hi, Rosemary. I hope you're well. I saw your question about your friend's car, so I'll look at that. I'm just rambling a little bit to give everybody a chance to get on here. And I'm going to just put my little link really quick. Make sure that link works. Boop. It doesn't because I didn't type it right. Hold on. Let me do it. See, this is why I check myself. So we got to see Barb the lizard, who was really cute and apparently very sociable and had been rehomed from a family because they couldn't take care of it as a bearded dragon lizard. Oops. And then we saw these really cute moles, and apparently they're just like snuggled up. They're not sociable with people, but hello, come on. I have a face. What is going on? Something's weird. Hold on. I just close out all of my apps that I use, which is far too many if you can hear my thumbs clicking away. What the hell? Okay, hold on. This is weird. I don't know why it's not. I was just on here. What just happened? Hold on just a moment. Oh, that's not loud. Sorry. Hi, Joelle. Stop it. Technology. But there was a chicken, and the chicken was the cutest thing. It was this like some kind of Polish chicken. It was like a fancy chicken, and it was so cute. I don't know if you ever have and they train the chicken to do like target training. So they have like a little stick with a ball on the end of it. And okay, I've got added to the list that's there right now, Julie and Joelle as well. Oh, you used the frankincense. Did it work? Did it like help zhuzh up the energy? I liked it too. Okay, you were about on my safe trip to Florida. Oh, good. I'm so glad. Any messages from your spirit guides? Okay. Let me just copy the list and update it. So then we had more Girl Scouts and cookie sales this morning, and maybe this is weird for me to think this is good luck, but I'm going with it. Because what are the odds and the chances? So I bought like a decaf latte. I know, super fun. But I don't really drink coffee anymore. So like it's very rare that I have any. So I bought it, and let's see, Julie and Joelle. And I went to go throw something away, and then came back, and we were about to like, clean up. And my daughter was like, "Mom, there's a bee on the cup." And she's like freaking out and frozen. It was just like sitting on my cup, and I was trying to like blow and see if it would go away. And it was like not moving. It did not. I picked up the cup. It didn't want to move. It was busy. Its little rear end, I forget what you call that, was doing this. And I was like, "What?" Like, I was like, "Well, maybe I'm just done with my cup of coffee." And then all of a sudden it moved and like kind of moved up onto the lid of the cup and there was a little poop there. I thought, bee poop? That's lucky, right? Actually, bees are supposed to be like good luck and abundance and stuff. So I thought, well, this is fortunate. I am a lucky person. Anyway, okay. It feels light. Okay, good. Great. So frankincense is your friend. You want to use frankincense to clear. That's one way to clear. Um, because sage welcomes spirit and lavender is about calming, but it's not clearing. So, and if you want to clear the energy and clear any negativity and stuff, frankincense is your friend. Okay. All right. So let's get started. We'll start with Regina. Oh, Rose. Sorry. Candy sound. Okay. So please like, please subscribe, share me with your friends, check me out on TikTok. Listen, call your Congress people because even if you don't use TikTok, there is a bill S868 or 686. I think no S686. And it's not just about TikTok. It's literally about all internet and having access to everything. It's extremely invasive. And it basically says like if they ban something and you try to access it like through VPN or something else, they can charge you up to with $1 million and up to 20 years in jail. But it literally it's banking systems, Zoom, and basically anything that you do online, they have access to it if they have more than 1 million subscribers, which is basically everything. So your banking system, everything. It's like Patriot Act 2. I am not like I just think this is the wrong way to go for everyone. So look up uh um the proposed bill. It's S686. And call your congressperson, call your US senators as well. Might as well complain to everybody, annoy the out of them so that they start it's like this is bad. That's all I'm saying. It's bad. Start researching it. It's bad. I've actually never called any of my congressmen and I'm calling. So, okay. So let's look at the car. I feel like they'll find it. Mm, but I do feel like it's been stripped. So I feel like it's up on blocks and stripped for parts, really. You can't hear me? Oh, look at that. I didn't know you could mute myself. Is that better? Is anybody else having a hard time hearing me? It's showing that it's working. Is anyone else having a hard time hearing? Testing, testing. It's only showing one green little dot. You hear me. Okay. Rosemary, do you need to maybe turn your sound up or can you hear me now? Okay. So I'm going to say this and hopefully you can come back and watch this if you can't hear me. I feel like they'll recover the car, but I feel like it's been stripped. So I don't know that all the It's like I can only see the back left tire, like, area where there would be a tire, and it feels like they've taken that, so it's like and it feels like it's up on blocks or something. I don't know if all of them are gone, but I'm specifically seeing that one. Um, and I feel like there's other parts missing. So it feels like it is taken and stripped for parts. Um, are they insured? Because I feel like it's gonna be covered, it'll be okay. And you asked, like, what lesson to learn from this, and I just keep feeling this, there's 2 different things I'm getting from it. So, no number 1 is the idea of non-attachment, um, that things are just things, and I know that's easier said than done, especially when I'm in this position and in not their position, but, like, they're safe. I feel like, so it's like the initial idea of taking the car was to, like Hi, Rathka, was to, you can hear me now, okay. So I feel like the initial idea was to, look for something inside, like things of value inside and not finding it and having another use for it. It was like, well, if we don't have anything of value, then I'm gonna strip it to get money. Um, so it's the idea of non-attachment for them. But then the second part of it is like also trusting that even sometimes when terrible things happen, that good comes from it. Like it's a blessing in disguise, which is the worst, right? Because like who wants to hear that? But I genuinely feel that they're gonna end up better without it or because of it. Like it's a feeling of like it's covered, it's taken care of, it's a car is the feeling you get. I'm not saying that because I would never be like, "Oh, it's just a car," because I think that's sort of dismissive, but that's not me, that's them saying it. I mean, I'm verbalizing it. But let me just, oh, Rothka, I've got your payment. Let me just put this on do not disturb because my when the sun hits my Ring camera just the right way, it goes off. Um, does that resonate when I say that to you? And I think you're a little bit behind, so I'll give you a minute. Um, Regine, what were your questions? Because again, I think that Rose is just a tiny bit behind me. So you're welcome. I hope that's helpful. Okay. Oh, so for anybody who's wondering, Rose had asked about her friend's car had been stolen and wanted to know if the car would be recovered and what the lesson they should learn from this. So if you're watching this back and you're like, this makes no sense. Um, is this your sister when you say her? Regina, question one, Ron left her 2 days ago. Is this final for her? Is this Ron your boss? I just wanna be clear on this because I answer and I don't know that you're gonna like it. Yeah, okay. I heard unfortunately no. Um, I do feel like they'll eventually get divorced, but I feel like it's, I feel like there's maybe one more. So it feels like it was like a heated argument and that just rash decision, and then it's like, "Well, no, no, I'm so stupid, blah, blah, blah." I feel like there's one more and then it's done. Um, they both could use some, guidance on communicating and triggers and healing and self-care. Um, I mean, we often pick partners that if we haven't done the healing work before we get into deep relationships, right? We often pick partners that recreate our familial triggers, right? So, um, yeah, I don't think it's done. I think it's one more time and then it's done. I just feel like I know it's disappointing to watch, but your sister is really like there's a lot of that belief system of I got married, I'm supposed to be married, it's supposed to be a lifetime. You're supposed to you're supposed to push through the hard times. So there's guilt and there's feelings of shame. Um and there's a lot of self-judgment. So it's hard for her to just walk and not keep trying. There's all those aspects to it. I'm sorry if my eating candy bothers you. I'm just gonna turn my heater on. Uh, okay. What's your second question? Um, the thing is that I don't know if it's about being understanding or if it's more so just, I mean, maybe it is, right? Just looking at it like it's easy to sit outside of a relationship and make judgments about what you would do, but you really don't know what you're going to do until you're in that particular situation, right? So, is what still good for you? Because I'm not clear on what you're writing and I don't quite remember everything all the time. It's nothing personal. It's just the way it works when I do readings. I was looking for something to put on my chapped lips. Well, they're not chapped. They feel a little dry. Um, it's easy to sit from an outside perspective and go, well, I mean, there's so many times in life where I'm like, well, when I'm this way, I will do this, or I would never do that. And then you're like, well, here I am. And I'm doing exactly what I said I wouldn't do. And because you don't always understand the circumstances of what it is to be in that position. Right. And it's hard. Um, so really, if you can just be supportive and loving of her and knowing that, um, she's doing the best she can with the circumstances she's in. And just you're there for her regardless of whatever her decision is. As long as she's not, I mean, if she's in which I don't feel she is, but in a situation where her safety is at risk, you know, Oh, immigration sent an extension, and I said it will work out and fine around June. Do I still see that being positive? Yeah. And it may actually be closer to like the end of May. But that's close enough to June. But yeah, I see that still working out. What is this? You're very welcome. Hang in there while watching your sister go through that. It's hard to watch people that we love go through stuff, you know? I'm grateful for all of you and all of your support. So the feeling is mutual. All right. Joelle, excuse me. Oh, Julie, you're up next. You just wanted general, and then Joelle, and then Rothka. Julie, let's see. You just want a general. Wait, I have to do this. This is weird, but I don't know why this actually does something. So just give me a minute. Be like, Anna, just get it tattooed on there, and I may, just maybe. But I think the next step I'm going to do instead of markers, high tech, is there stuff you can find where it's like a semi-permanent little thing. I should just use my permanent marker, but there's ones that you can do color with. Maybe I'll make a little design. Who knows? Because I'm ridiculous. All right. Or I don't know. Okay. So right now, Julie, I feel really tight in my right jaw, like almost a pressure on my tooth. And then I feel like I'm kind of almost like wrenched energetically. So I feel a little bit of pressure here on my right side of my head, maybe some slight headaches, pressure on my sinuses, and like down my neck into this is my right shoulder. And I definitely have an awareness on my top right. I don't have my wisdom tooth, but if I did, it would be my third one in. But if you don't have your wisdom tooth, it's your second one in from the back. I feel a little tight in my kidneys. I think you're a little dehydrated. And I just feel this like underlying needing to cry, like, but you don't know why. It's just like needing to release. Some of that is carrying that energy from your sister and needing to release that. You woke up with a bad headache today. Okay. So, some things that might be beneficial to you to help clear some of this energy, and I think there might be more of a message, but I just want to address this stuff to release some of that. It's like feelings of grief, and I know she had that loss, but I just feel it like there. Um, you got to ground yourself. So, if the weather's okay, go outside for a walk, and if it's okay, get your feet in the ground. You're very sad for her. Okay. So it's like I feel a little dizzy even now. Like when I just sat there, I was like, oh, and it's a very ungrounded feeling to me. It's not um It's not a physical thing, it's an energetic thing. And I also feel like so I feel like it would benefit you if you could do some grounding, and it feels like actually like touching the earth and being with the earth. So maybe just go sit if the weather's nice enough and it's warm enough. Sit under a tree and read a book one day. And just like kind of absorb that energy from the tree and the ground and like just connecting with it. Or just take a moment and sit with the tree and do some nice deep breathing. Cause I also feel a need to like breathe for your soul, right? We all breathe enough naturally for our little cells, but we don't always breathe enough for our soul. It feels like it's just really important to do that. Um, I also feel like intentionally releasing that energy, like you could do, like I mentioned to Regine about taking frankincense and kind of clearing yourself with frankincense. It just feels like intentionally letting go. Like it's okay for me to release this energy. It doesn't make you a curmudgeon or unempathetic or uncaring if you don't hold that sadness for her, right? So if you decide to like be like, well, I can be sad without actually feeling those full, deep emotions constantly. This is some of that is hers, not yours. And I think that's part of being clairsentient or empathic, is what some people like to call it. Um, so I hear like she's going to be okay, but I also feel like she needs reminders to do some things like paperwork wise and just to stay on top of stuff. I just feel like she's, in a little bit of a foggy state. What's the significance of Ohio? I keep feeling Ohio, so I don't know what the significance is, and I don't think that that's where you live. It's hard being around the grief. It is hard being around a lot of grief. I will tell you, the woman who trained me when I worked at Texas Children's Hospital, and she oriented me for like whatever it was, 6 or 8 weeks or 12, I don't know how many weeks it was. She was like my orientation nurse, and she guided me through and taught me all of like their policies and just, different little things that you learn with NICU babies, even though I had experience in nurse already. And she passed away. And when I found out, it was interesting because I felt her around me, and she was like, I don't want to go over to that house. It's so like she didn't want to be around her family energetically because there was so much grief. I've had that happen with other souls. I'm like, yeah, but you have to, like, this part of your experience. You got to go. Sorry. Like, you can hang here for a little bit, but then time to like and learn what you need to learn from being a part of that. It's still open to every. Is there a connection to him in Ohio or something? Oh, in Minnesota, y'all have gotten a lot of snow. I was talking to my girlfriend in she lives in outside or in Milwaukee, I guess proper. We went to high school outside of Milwaukee. And she was like, "Oh my God, we're getting more snow." Like it just getting hit over and over and over again. Like, ugh. So I don't know. Is there a connection for him to Ohio? Yes, I'm just eating candy. So awesome. Hold on to that because I don't know what it is, but I heard the best thing you can do right now is just breathe. Like take that time. There's a really great breathing technique. There's all kinds. There's Wim Hof. There's box breathing, and there's this one which is really, really simple, and it doesn't take anything to remember. You just take a nice deep breath in through your nose, and when you get to that top of that breath and you think I can't breathe in anymore, you stop, and then you take a little bit more of a deep breath. So it's and you're going to do that a few times just to sort of help settle your energy and breathe it out. And then there's also the idea of intentionally releasing some of that and saying, like, this isn't my energy to hold on to. I no longer need to hold on to it. I'm going to release it back to the universe. Frankincense is your friend too. I think that will be very helpful. Okay. I almost even feel like you could put a little pine cone in your pocket or something, which sounds weird, but it's like you could put a little part of the earth in your pocket to help channel that energy out. And then you can either, you can just, put it back outside, and the earth will take care of it and release it. Some people may say take it off of your property to do it, but I say the earth can reabsorb it. She's pretty amazing. All right. All right. So I've got Julie down, and then I've got Joelle. What's yours? And Rothka. Oh, and Jen Elliott. I see yours now. Okay. Totally time for I'm sorry I didn't see your JE. But totally time for 2. It's fine. Okay. And I didn't see your payment, so I didn't know how many to, I mean, I know you'll pay. I'm not even worried about that. But oh, there you are, Devery. Sorry, dearie. I got you. I got you. I'll update that. Okay. Joelle, you want a general? Um, okay, Joelle, let me look at yours. Have you been having a lot of Joelle, a lot of anxiety? And I feel this is around health stuff. And this is like the health stuff that you and I have discussed in the past. I feel a bunch of good, but how much? I just feel this anxiety, and then I just feel like almost like bloating in my lower abdomen, or it looks like little bubbles. Do you have like a history of ovarian cysts or cysts? It could be uterine, but I think it's ovarian. And I asked about like the cervical stuff, and I heard all clear. And I also feel like around the doctor, I heard tone deaf, and I heard like I just feel like they're like not great bedside manner. Okay. Have you had your estrogen and progesterone levels checked? Because it may be that even if they're normal, I feel like you might be a little estrogen dominant. And that might be something to discuss where maybe you need a little extra progesterone. Um, and as far as like the restaurant, I just keep feeling like that worry around that. And it's like, look, you can only do what you can do. And it feels like you really need to focus on yourself and trust that all of that's going to work out. Um, Because to me, what I keep feeling like it's going to work out, it feels like it's a bit of a hassle, a bit of a headache, but it'll be fine in the long run. I still am not sure about the imbalance. I would talk to your doctor about it. Even if they're in normal, like both within normal range of each other, it may be that you're estrogen dominant, even if they're normal range. And so sometimes with that, you get like the cysts and the fibrocystic breasts and all of that stuff. So it may be that you need a little bit of boost of progesterone. And those are things to discuss with your doctor because obviously, who am I? I'm not a doctor, a lawyer, a therapist, or a financial advisor. So if you need one of those, please seek those. But those are questions to ask. I feel like your doctor is just not really, I don't want to say just there for the paycheck, but just, it just feels like ho hum and lots of anxiety around the restaurant. So it just feels like I know it's easy for me to sit there because we've discussed this before. It's easier to sit and outside of a situation and go, you got to do self care, and the rest of that's going to fall into place. Like it feels like a pain in the butt more than anything for your father, but it feels like it'll work itself out. And I also feel like your dad's like, well, you just do what you have to do. Like he doesn't, like it's more of an annoyance, but he's not a person that's afraid of working. And he's not like, he's just sort of like, it's not resolved to the fact that you sometimes life doesn't work out the way it is, but just that's like kind of like, you know, you can't do anything about it. You can only just work with what you have. And that's like the feeling I get with him is he's just kind of like, just, we got to just work with what we have. Look, for him to stay open during, he made it all through COVID and everything. He's got a lot of loyal customers. So just trust that that's going to work in his favor. No, we can all manifest for each other too. Just imagine Joelle coming back and saying, it all worked out, just like you said. I don't know. It's kind of silly, but whatever. Okay. Rothko, what's your question? I need to stop eating. I won't put another candy in my mouth, I promise. I won't do it. Annoying crunch, 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 crunch. When I watch these back and I hear the crunch, crunch, I'm like, oh my God, you're annoying. Why are you doing that? So I'm sorry if I'm annoying you and it's just like grating on you. I apologize. That's story enough to stop until after I'm done with this one, but you know how it works. Hi, Crystal. Sure, they're oh, did I not pin that one? They're $12 a reading and 30% goes to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. I'll pin this one. Boop. General. We appreciate you too, Joelle. We as in the collective we. Not as in I am a multiple personality we. I had a patient once when I was a student nurse intern, and I'm pretty sure I'm past the statute of limitations that I can say this because this was back in 2001. I was a student nurse intern, and a woman who had, I think it's called dissociative identity disorder now. Back then it was multiple personalities, and she was there for respite for her husband, I guess, because it was a lot. And she was very sweet. But I went in her room at midnight and I talked to 4 different people within a matter of 6 minutes. So I went out to the nurse that was overseeing so I basically got a full set of patients. And then I had a nurse who would sign off on all of my stuff. So co-sign for me. So she was basically assuming responsibility for all of my patients, but I was doing all the work. And I said, can we give her something to sleep? She's asking for something to sleep. And she's like, Anna, it's midnight. She's going to sleep till noon. Blah, blah, blah. And I looked at her. I was like, do you want her roaming the hall? I was like, let's let her sleep. She's like, and then you had it at the time. So there was very minimal computer charting at the time. So this one, we only charted in the computer was PRN meds and everything else was still paper. And so I charted, it said reason for administering it. I was like joking around like a little turd that I was, like patients requested. And she's like, Anna. Michelle was great though. She taught me how to care for people when they pass and how to clean their bodies and all of that stuff. Learned a lot. Okay, Rothka. Here we go. Have you started smoking again? Even if it's just like maybe went out and had one or something. I just feel like tight in my chest, like having had a cigarette, kind of tight feeling. Is there some kind of environmental thing that would be causing that tight feeling? That's happening on the street here more than in the US. Okay. But do you feel like it's affecting you? Being around more people who smoke or being around secondhand smoke? Because I just feel kind of tight. and even like irritated in my throat. Do you think you're coming down with a respiratory thing? Not really. I've been anxious on and off. No, it doesn't feel like anxious. This is something like I feel so. I haven't felt anything. Okay, so I am just going to say it might be brewing. Sometimes when I feel this stuff and there's nothing I can connect that to, within a week, someone starts to get something. It doesn't feel terrible. It just feels like maybe like a cold kind of thing. It doesn't feel like COVID or anything like that. Or either that or allergy, like seasonal allergy. So I don't know if you're in the southern hemisphere now. So I don't know. Aren't you? I think you're in the southern hemisphere. My geography is my horrible ability to know geography. um, Lots of fall there. So it might be just like I don't know what's in the fall, but it just feels like there might be something. I have to tell you, I don't think your anxiousness is necessarily yours. I feel like it's connected to the area you're in. So when I've been out to LA, like LA and New York have very different. When people are like, "Oh, that's a different vibe," there is an undercurrent there. It's in the land. It's in the air. It's not the people. I mean, there are people like this, but it's not because of the people that are there. This is an older energy that like is a current through that area of insecurity. It's very interesting. And it's because that kind of feeling is bred in Hollywood as an industry is based on such kind of superficial things, right? Not that the people necessarily are, but like think of the old Hollywood with like Judy Garland. It's like, here, you need to have uppers to keep you skinny. Now you need to have downers to get you to sleep at night. Da, 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 da. Like it's just make sure you smoke as much cigarettes as you can so you stay super skinny. Like, and if you don't have the right look, then and it's more in the women than it is in the men. But then there's even the idea of like from so long ago of like really hiding who you are because like you have to present one way so like you can never fully be yourself, right? So like I think Cary Grant had a roommate like when but they were just bachelors together. um and nobody could just be comfortable with who they are, and it's still that way. So it just feels like there might be an underlying energy and current there that's lending towards the anxiety. Yeah. Yeah. So, and utterly miserable history here and problems caused by historic inequality. Yeah. So it's like, I feel like that might be what you're tapping into. So this is going to be interesting. I feel like one thing that might help you find grounding is when you do your meditation, send healing into the land and send healing into the energy of it. Right? Remember that doesn't take anything from you. Energy and intention passes from the universe through you. So it's just passing through. So it doesn't take anything from you. You're not sucking the energy out of yourself to do that. You're just filtering it through you for the intention. It feels like that will help you deal with the anxiety more than anything. And it feels like as you do it, start really concentrated. So if you're sitting outside, like imagine yourself sitting outside, right? And just sending pure concentrated energy into the like maybe like a foot radius outside of you into that small area. And then maybe the next day increase the area and increase to where it's eventually just sort of coming out of you in all directions. And then I feel like doing that will help you also, as you move through it and not absorb so much other stuff. Yeah. And I think, your spouse is less, um, even though she's empathic herself, I feel like she's or clairsentient herself, she's less aware of it because it's energy she's already familiar with. So, like for me, I'm very aware of other people's energy if I'm not around them all the time. But like my family, I'm not like people are like, oh, is it noisy all the time? It's like, no, because it's like I'm always around it. So it's not, it's like sort of like I'm not scanning the difference, right? So you're always sort of like in your most simple state. There's another word I want to use for it, but this I don't have it in my head right now. Your most primitive state, there we go, is about protection and fight or flight. So you're unknowingly sort of scanning the energy and environment around you for things that are different. And so I don't know, she's just not as aware of that. And spells takes everything in, but has lived here before. Yeah. So it's not the same. And some people are like, oh, it's just an unfamiliar environment. Well, yeah, but there's more to it than that. Hmm. And I want to say this, I do believe you're safe there, but I also understand that there is an undeniable concern, and rightfully so that you are. But I do believe you will be safe there. Um, and I think you'll be safe because you're being smart about it, right? So, like, I mean, I remember, so it's like, as a woman, I don't know. I guess I don't like the idea of taking an Uber late at night by myself. As a woman, when I get in my car, if it's dark, I get in my car and I turn it on immediately and start moving and then sort of settle myself at some other point. I don't like just sit around and, I'm aware of my surroundings all the time. But it doesn't mean I think, oh, something's going to happen. It's just I'm aware, and so I move through situations differently just being a woman. Um, You may stay till this time next year. What? That's okay though. I understand. I think you will too. I also heard she needs that. So, okay. All right. Where are we at, friends? Well, let me know when you're in I don't know if you're going to be in this area though, or if you're just going to be in. um, and by this area, I mean New York or wherever, the general vicinity, not if you're in a further north. I probably can't swing, but um, yes. No, that's not what I want. This is what I want. No. There we go. Okay. Okay, Crystal, I got your payment, by the way. All right. So thank you. Just keep me posted, please, and thank you. That would be lovely. Okay, so then I've got Jen. Let's do yours, and then Davri, and then Crystal. Thank you for everybody's patience. You know, I will take my time with you as well. Okay. So Jen's first question is, your ex-husband keeps threatening to take the, can I ask your ex-husband's first name, if that's okay? To court for child support, even though we make the same amount of money. Do I need to be worried? No, I don't even know if I need his name for that. Blake. I absolutely feel like not. I feel like a lot of it is just blowing out steam. I feel like you need to document all the times he's supposed to have the kids and doesn't, for whatever reason that he's not. But it just feels like he's not taking you to court for anything. It's an emotional manipulation garbage. He thinks he has more of a leg to stand on than he does. And I feel like it would be a great disadvantage to him to take you back to court. I actually see a female judge. I don't think he'll take you, but it just feels like whoever, if that were to happen, you'd end up with somebody who would call him on his garbage right away. Okay. Does I feel like, so here's the thing. I feel like, okay, maybe we're supposed to have 50-50, but it's really like 70-30. And he doesn't complain about it because it works to his advantage. Okay. I just want to make sure I was getting that right. So yeah, I feel like he doesn't have a leg to stand on. Okay. You're fine. It's just a lot of emotional manipulation, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just looking for your next question. And question 2 is, when does a new thing come in? I'm like, why do you want another one? Sorry. Oh, jeez. I don't even know. You're not, I don't feel, get this feeling that you're really putting yourself out there right now. I feel like maybe you start to put yourself out there a little bit more in like 2 to 3 months. But I don't see someone coming in for like really coming in. Now, I'm not talking about you're going to go on dates and things like that, but I just feel like a lot of duds. Maybe by the end of the year, meeting someone where it's a little bit more serious. But I still feel like we're seeing each other, but it's like really quietly seeing each other. So maybe people don't even really know you're dating, or, and it's not because you're embarrassed of him. It's really just not wanting to overwhelm your kids, but also not wanting to deal with the ex and his opinions around it, even though I feel like he's been dating for a while. I don't know if you can confirm any of that. I heard he's a piece of work. And is it okay if I say congratulations on your divorce? I know this a lot of people go, "Oh, I'm sorry." And it's like, but I think like when you're ready to divorce, it's like there's a it's not happy about being divorced, but being out of that. So, congratulations. Sorry. Is your daughter 16? Have a daughter? 12. Your daughter, when she's 16, will know exactly who he is. Whatever that means, she'll have a very good idea of who he is. So there is no need to worry about trying to defend yourself about the way he talks. Because I do feel like there's a little bit of weird manipulation with them. So, like, oh, I wasn't the one who wanted the divorce, maybe, or just like weird things. Like, I don't think necessarily bad talking about you, but I don't know. And it just feels like by the time she's 16, she will have a very clear idea of who he is. So, man, people can be dicks, can't they? And by dick, I mean short for Richard. All right, hang in there, okay? Devery and Crystal, you're up. Good night, sweet dreams to you. Um, this sounds weird. I almost feel like something's going to open up tomorrow, like a job or something is going to be posted tomorrow. I know that sounds weird, but I also have this feeling of um it working out for you, not for the other job, but just like even if you had to work at like Costco or do something like that for a little bit, it feels like it's going to be okay. It doesn't feel like you're like, oh, I can't get anything. Like I know you like working from home, but it feels like it will be okay. Um, but I heard tomorrow, which is like what? So it may be that a job gets posted tomorrow. I don't know that like you've like looked and you're like there is nothing there. It's like then you go on in the morning or at noon and it's like oh there's something there. Um, I don't feel like you're going to be without work for long if you are. So it feels like something quick coming up. But I also feel like you might qualify for unemployment with this if they let you go. I also think it's just so stupid. Like, why do you have to work in that state? I mean, it might have some to do with the way they were taxed. Um, I feel like it's important for you to like look around and look at all the help wanted signs and just to help the energy shift a little bit and see like there's jobs everywhere, there's money everywhere, instead of being like there's nothing, I can't find anything. Like as a way to open up the energy. I know that sounds weird, but that's worked for me quite well in the past. You okay? You there? Um, they're making you resign or they're firing you. Look, I don't see you moving back to where you have to be. Um, in order to work for them. I think you'll resign. To be honest with you, I can't tell you what you should do. It's just I feel like you will end up resigning. But I also feel like you'll get you'll get a job pretty quickly. They're not firing you, but they're not giving any room. Maybe ask them, are you firing me? If I don't move back to that state, are you firing me? Get it in writing. See what they say in writing. Because if they say we have to let you go, then you're saying, so you're firing me. Get them to say yes. And then you can apply for unemployment. But I feel like you're gonna cut ties. But I think I said that before that you're gonna end up getting something there. And it may be something a little bit more temporary that you're not doing, but just to keep money coming in. Yeah. But I literally feel like something pops up tomorrow. Like, I know that sounds weird. So I don't even know where you do job searches anymore. Because the kind of jobs I had, I could just go to the hospitals and look at the hospitals pages and um, or go through agencies. So I don't know where you look for jobs. Is that probably lame, but tis the truth. Indeed and Craigslist. I feel like there's other stuff. There's like monster.com. Isn't that one? Look there. I think you can post your resume there too. Isn't that one? I'm almost certain. Does it still exist? Y'all, I did this thing. I don't know if anybody's still here. I did this thing. So I like Sir Kensington ketchup. It's just what I like. I don't like Hunt's. It's too sweet. And I was making sloppy joes because my Canna came up yesterday, and then my husband went to a deli, and he took my middle daughter with him because he picked her up from Girl Scouts because I was at another Girl Scout thing with my youngest daughter, and they were like talking about sloppy joes. I was like, that's not the kind of sloppy joe I knew when I was a kid. There's like a Jersey sloppy joe, and then there's like the sloppy joe that the rest of the nation knows. And so I was like, I'll make some tonight. And then we thought we had like a mix thing from Williams Sonoma. I was like, we didn't have one, so I was like, I'll just find the recipe and make it or whatever. but you need ketchup for it. Which was a mistake because my youngest daughter was like, I do not like ketchup. And I didn't really, she really doesn't. I think it's the vinegar in it. And, but they didn't have Sir Kensington's at my ShopRite or at Whole Foods. And I was like, am I in the wrong dimension of time and space? Like, does this exist here? It was just a weird, like, I'm not like I'm really, but sometimes I wonder, like, then I looked up, it's online. I was like joking around though, like, did I time hop to a place that doesn't have Sir Kensington ketchup? That's the worst. Oh, it worked. Oh, there's a lot of scam jobs. Oh, I don't know. Um, how are there scam jobs? How does that work? I always wonder what, like, I don't know. Anyway. Okay. I feel like you're going to be okay. Okay. And then, Crystal, you have a question. Go ahead and ask your question. I do feel like you're going to be okay, Deborah, just so you know. I really hope, I hope so. I really feel like it will. And I hope I'm right. But let's manifest for you, right? So see you responding on here and being like, it worked out. I got a job. It's okay. Everything worked out smoothly. I don't even know what kind of job you're looking for. So I'm the kind of person that would be like, here's a job. Here's a job. Here's a job. You're in Atlanta now, right? Why don't you get into the film industry? There's lots of stuff there too. They're supposed to be opening up some kind of studios here in New Jersey. All right. Crystal, are you here, Levy? I don't know if there's a time delay. You're very welcome. General reading. Okie dokie. Any reason why a puppy would pop up? And it looks like I keep seeing the face of a dachshund, but it could be just like a little short-haired, smaller dog with that brown kind of color, and just not quite as long. He doesn't a little bit like a hound snout, so not a mushed snout. And I'm asking that, I don't know why, but that's the first thing I saw. I don't know why they're showing me that one. That one's so have you been dating a lot lately? I just feel like there's someone you're having a good time with. And if it's not right now, then it's coming soon. And it's this feeling of you're in a relationship. Okay. And it's but I feel like it's very spicy. It's like the feeling I got where I'm like, why are you showing me this? Good for you. That's a first. I don't know if I'm blushing, but I feel like it. I'm sorry. I feel like it's not going anywhere. So try not to let your okay. Um Try not to let your fear of abandonment get away get too far away from you. So it's just that feeling of like there's a lot of connection there and genuine love, genuine attraction, genuine enjoyment. Um, I feel like he tends to be in his head a little bit. So try not to let your worries about that like overtake you. Does that resonate when I'm saying that to you? Because there's genuine attraction, like is good. Okay. Um, I don't know why they're focusing on that so much. Has there been like a worry, or do you tend to get more worried? Because I even was like, well, is there money? And it's like, no, money's not an issue. I mean, I feel like you're good. I don't feel like you're rolling in dough, but I feel like you're good. Um, I feel like more of it comes up with your own insecurities about whether he gets bored or is not attracted. Um, I just feel like he's in his head and dealing with his own stuff. Um, is there something more specific you want to know? Because I was like, is there like any? That's sort of what they were focusing on. We've been together for 5 years. Oh, okay. Well, it could be that I see it differently. It's how to get me to say it versus it's not always the like, right? So it's just to get me to say what needs to be said. Um, so I see that as being spicy. So um, she could be in her head more. So I'm sorry if I'm using the wrong. It's just a way to get me to talk about it. And that's my frame of reference. So I apologize. Um, like sometimes they'll show me something. Okay, I'll give you this example. So I was doing an exercise with my daughter, and this is something I learned then about how your guides work. Where I was like, we were putting our foreheads together, and I was imagining something, and I kept imagining my bunny, and our bunny's name is Coco, and that's all I kept saying, like Coco over and over, and imagining her and like seeing her in my mind's eye. And my daughter goes, well, I don't know why I keep seeing like coffee drinks lined up on the counter and like hot cocoa, right? So it's like sometimes when we get stuff, it's not we don't always see it exactly as it is. It's to get us to talk about that thing. Um, I also feel like if you expressed with her more about like your worries and your insecurities and not like so I learned to be say like I don't like when you do that because it makes me feel this way. It's like it's not that you're necessarily doing anything bad, but this is what it triggers for me. It helped somehow like take the shift the blame or shift the like so where it's like I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not putting you up on a firing range or anything. It's just like this is how I feel. This is why I react that way. So it's like really like looking at how you react and looking at why it's triggering you and then having that conversation rather than like you're doing something wrong, you should be doing exactly what I want you to do so that I feel better, but like this is what happens when this happens, this is where I'm at. So it's not necessarily that you're doing anything wrong, but if you could just either understand it in the moment or help me process it, or just, that it's, I don't know, it somehow takes that pressure off. Okay. And I don't know why they want to necessarily bring that up, but. And then we'll do this last reading and I will be done. My life is on pause since I recently had surgery. She's been great, very supportive. Okay. So just to remind yourself of all of that then. So I don't think she's terrible. Like I didn't say that at all. I just feel like I tends to like keep things to yourself. So it just feels like maybe looking more at your own stuff when you get that fear of abandonment kind of stuff, or that nervousness, or that you're too much to be taken care of, that kind of thing. Look, nobody likes doing a lot of caregiving stuff. It's exhausting. And that's not because they don't like you. It's just, it's hard. Right. Oh, I got your payment, Lisa. It's hard to, it's just hard. Right. But it doesn't mean they don't love you or they don't care for you, all of that stuff. On the flip side, it's okay to have somebody help you out and take care of you and not feel guilty or like a burden. So some of those are feelings about you, not her, right? That's stuff that you have to work out. But you're in a good relationship, and I feel like lots of attraction and love. So there's a delay in the video. Where you saying you don't see us? No, I didn't say that at all. I don't see that at all. I see you're fine. There's lots of love, lots of love, lots of attraction. What I was saying was it's hard to be a caregiver. So if you feel like at any point it's hard, just not, but it's also on your end. It's okay to have somebody care for you. It doesn't make you, it's not a burden for her. So it may be hard to be a caregiver, but it's okay to have that help and don't feel like a burden. Okay. You're going to work out. Don't worry. Okay. PL, go ahead and ask your question. You're welcome. PL. There you are. I think you're delayed. So if you can catch up on the screen, just drag the little thing on the bottom over to make sure that you're caught up. So I'll wait a minute or two to make sure you catch up to hear me say that. Are you here? Are you here? Are you here? Are you here? Hmm. Who else is here? Say hello. We can chat until Crystal catches up or till Lisa catches up. Hello. All right. This is frustrating. There you are. Oh, will your husband go to eat with you tonight? He's a little mad at you. Yeah. I heard he's mad, but he doesn't want to pass up that food. And will your niece finish what? Okay, I want to say this about your husband. Um, Part of the reason he's mad is feels like you're stubborn. And so it's like it's okay to take ownership and say like I said that came out the wrong way and I'm sorry. I just feel like you're both really hard-headed and it's hard to take ownership of maybe how you could have done something better. But I feel like he'll go to dinner with you. Okay? And listen, it doesn't make you a terrible person to say like I could have said that better. I could have done that better. Um that's where growth happens, right? And growth in relationships and growth, self-growth. Your own growth happens there when you're like nobody, it's nobody's perfect. Okay? Um your niece hi Lana. Your niece she'll finish ninth grade, but I feel like she needs to go to summer school or something. Okay? So, it just feels like she'll require some summer school or something, but she'll finish. I don't know that I feel like academically she actually would do better. She might be like ADHD. And you're still a little behind me. So some of the stuff was like, oh yes, I'm right. I was seeing that you were saying yes, I'm here. So just to clarify that. So, um, but I think she might have like ADHD and attentive or something to where it's like, um, she's having a hard time just like managing some of the stuff. But I feel like if that was addressed, she would do better. I do also feel like she kind of has a little bit of an attitude about things sometimes, like where it's just it's part of its age. Um so it's like not she's a bad kid or whatever, but it's just like um why do you want to do that anyway? Like it's just like it's reactive and impulsive and some of that can be with ADHD. So it might not be a bad idea to see if she is to have her evaluated or to like does she have a brother? Because it was this feeling of like she has a brother who has it, but hers presents completely differently. And also, a lot of girls go undiagnosed because she's not been nice to family lately. Yeah. I don't feel like it's I feel like some of that is age and reactivity, and some of this is maybe an undiagnosed like ADHD going on where she's dysregulated and, and like she's just feeling off. She is ADHD. I feel like she needs not, she just, well, Prozac is depression. Um, I don't know that that's what she has. I don't want to say I think she's misdiagnosed, but I think she is. Um, it's just a feeling of like she just needs a little extra guidance, and maybe not like there's something called, there's an IEP, there's a, she doesn't want help, it's being offered from school, extra help, and yes, that's harsh, that's at the attitude. Okay, so some of that refusal of help is that feeling of like, if I have this, that means I'm stupid. um I didn't know I had a lot of sensory issues as a kid. I have them, still have them. I just wasn't aware that what I was experiencing was considered sensory issues. Sister who is 10 and she's 15. Okay. Um, I just felt like there's a like a sibling, maybe it's a cousin or something. There's a male that's already diagnosed in the family as ADHD. It just feels like it does run in families. Um, But like, had I known, I have a very high IQ. I was an average student. I was not an accelerated student. And I feel like had I known and had some of the accommodations that I needed, I could have done so much better. And I just feel like she thinks if she gets accommodations that then she's stupid, and she's not. I feel like she's really smart too, just learns differently and her brain works a little differently than what the standard is, the normal is for kids. And when they teach in school, they teach for a specific one specific way, not what works for everybody. Also, might not be bad to look into autism and how it presents. Like for you, just look into like how women late diagnosed autistic people present and what they go through. Females present a lot differently, and then also than like the stereotypical like nonverbal, the way that autistic people are flat affect, the way that a lot of autistic people are presented in media. She has ADD. Okay, tested by the school and spends time secluding family. Yes, she has an IEP from school. Okay, she might need an IEP instead of an MET. I don't know what state you're in. The other thing I would look at is maybe she's autistic, and I say that because autistic women oftentimes get diagnosed with depression and anxiety or bipolar, and really they're just autistic. And autism presents with sort of like needing a lot of alone time, and sensory issues. And I mean, there's a whole host of things. So if she got the accommodation she needs, and like to understand that it's not necessarily her brain, I mean, her like that she's dumb, it's just her brain processes things differently and looks at the world differently. and that's okay. Some of the most amazing people are neurodivergent, i.e., and neurodivergence covers a bigger umbrella, but i.e., ADHD and autistic. So the seclusion part is really more just shutting down a little bit because it's too hard to process all the other stuff right now. And hormones play into that. And then also just being around a ton of people all the time. And like, I mean, yeah. Yeah. And it's hard. So if it was something she loved, she could just focus a hardcore and be fine on it. But especially testing is like just for the bird. Like I always did great on testing. I was like I always did very well on standardized tests. But like to me, the challenge was to do really well. Like when I did an IQ test in high school, and one of the things that was like I wanted to see how much I knew, so I was like really focused on it. It was really important. But if there was stuff that wasn't, I was like, whatever. It was like about outdoing myself, not outdoing other people. In Arizona, I almost said California. So yeah, she's gonna be okay. I just feel like it's really important that instead of people taking it personally that she's in her room, maybe approach it like, do you need some quiet space? Like letting her know that that's okay. So I think one of the reasons, like with my daughter is actually, one of my daughters is late diagnosed autistic. And I've always like needed lots of space and quiet. So when she was little and I was like, oh, she just needs some quiet time. Like she got a lot of those accommodations. And I didn't think that was weird because it runs in families. And but unfortunately, like schools work for neurotypical kids. And so I don't know. It's just hard and it can be a lot. So I just feel like just reminding her that it's okay, reminding her that wherever she's at is okay. And that she's enough, just all those things. I think that she's being teenagers like, and also the feeling I get is like she's not, I don't feel like that she's dumb. I just feel like they're not teaching to her ability and her needs. And I feel like she gets overwhelmed and dysregulated. And sometimes they're pushing academics when really they should just be pushing social emotional needs. So like I ended up pulling my daughter out and homeschooling her this year. But my goal for her was, they're like, well, what's your goal? I was like, for her to feel safe in school. And that like she could just go and like, I was like, I don't care where she's at academically because I know that she'll end up okay. It's like I just want her to feel safe and get some social experience. I think that we don't sometimes we grind people through this assembly line instead of realizing that if you catch them and hold them in one space, they can accelerate later academically. Remind her, this is really important. The most that you really ever need in math is addition and subtraction and some basic algebra. And remind her that a lot of math is not some magic thing and your brain has to be really, it's memorizing formulas. And to do that, just practice them over and over and over again. I had that conversation with my daughter who's working on learning long division. And I said, there is nothing magical about it. You're not really, really smart if you get this really quick. It's just memorizing how you do it. That's it. And then it works every time. That may be, honestly, if she's autistic, sometimes that's like kind of normal because it's overwhelming to be around a lot of sound and she might have some sensory stuff going on. So my oldest, sometimes she does only come out when she needs something, or she'll only come out to me. She won't come out and talk to my husband, or When the house is quieter and no one's really around, she comes out and hangs out more. It's just because it's sensory overload otherwise for her. And that's okay. I think sometimes you just have to meet people where they're at. And being in school, like I had migraines a ton when I was in school, from the time I was 6 years old until I was graduated from high school. And I think that's because it was like day in and day out, lots of bright lights, lots of sounds, lots of noises, just lots of peopling, and all the transitions that have to be made, and all the self judgments, and not knowing how sensitive I was to other people's energy, and then like having whatever downtime I had. And I mean, my parents would be like, "Don't you want to go out?" And I was like, "No, I'm cool. Like, I'm good staying home tonight." And they didn't get it. My dad and my stepmom did not get it. And they just made me feel weirder for it. And so I think if you can just come from a place without judgment, that helps leave it a lot. So um, it's hard. And I think it's really wonderful that she has a caring family that's concerned, because a lot of people aren't. So as long as she knows, like, maybe she doesn't want the help at school. Maybe that's like, maybe she's had so much energetically, like it's like to be there any longer is a lot. So it may not, and maybe she doesn't understand that. Maybe she doesn't know how to verbalize that, because it sounds like it just might be too much to be there extra, right? Um, so maybe the goals need to shift a little bit around where she's at school. And maybe it needs to just be about um, not the academic acceleration, but just meet her where she's at emotionally. And if it's the same thing as an IEP, which is legally like they have to follow it, that can be updated and changed. And maybe maybe for now there's a regression and she has to change her goals if she's autistic, which she may be. When you get burnt out, sometimes you need to regress and sort of just like minimal requirements. Why I wonder school not saying autistic and more ADD, and that saying autistic based on testing, not. Um, I don't know, but autism presents differently, and it depends on what their knowledge of autism is. And I'm telling you that when my daughter, because I followed, I would say really and truly do this. Go on to like TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and search late diagnosed female autistic. Start following some of those people that are late diagnosed female autistic. There's another great guy on TikTok who's an educator, and he works with autistic kids. I'm going to find him to follow. Um, gosh, I wish. Somebody I follow, and now I can't think of his name. Um, Follow them and learn more about it and see if it fits. I'm happy to be wrong. I could totally be wrong. But I will tell you that when I went to them, and I initially said with my oldest daughter, I think she's ADHD at first. And I was like, and then I started looking at more. I was like, I think actually she might be autistic. They're like, well, no, it could be other things. And I'm like, even when I said to her pediatrician, I was like, I think she's autistic. She goes, well, it could be, everybody dismissed me. I was like, oh, it could be ADHD. It could be this, it could be that. Even so, I had went and got an outside diagnosis, because fortunately we could do that. And it's expensive. So, but it was like we were in kind of crisis mode, and I was like, I need help now. I don't want to wait a year for an evaluation, because that's where we were at. And when I came back to the school counselor and said, she's autistic, her jaw literally dropped. Because what a lot of people are trained as is autistic is not. And they wouldn't even, had she not had so many, she wasn't having academic issues, but she was sort of having the social emotional stuff, the anxiety, the not wanting the school refusal and all of that stuff. If she hadn't had that component, like they kept telling me she was fine. I started asking in kindergarten, sure, she's okay. Because I'm just like noticing a few things. And everybody's like, no, 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 it's fine if they have tantrums at home. It's fine. They're great at school. Like, well, they're happy if they're high masking. Their idea of high functioning is high masking. So I know I'm taking a long time on this for you, but I just, it's a lot. And I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with being autistic. It's got a lot of stigma still, but it's just worth it to kind of pursue it and see, kind of ask her too. Like, you could do one more question. That's fine. Um, it's worth asking her, is the reason you don't want to do extra school stuff just because you're just burnt out and it's overwhelming? Um, just because somebody teaches math doesn't mean they know the way to teach her. And there's a million different ways to do math, believe it or not. And I have a lot of compassion for her and for you. And when I brought my daughter back to school, like she was in for one day this year, and then I was like, got COVID and all this other stuff happened. And I was like, I'm just going to homeschool her because it was just stressing her out more than anything. And I was annoyed because like they were stuck on her wearing her hoodie, but she wears that because it's like a comfort to her. And I was just like, that's like really where you're at. Like this kid hasn't been in school and you're like, so, I don't know. Nobody knows your niece like her family, and she's obviously verbal. So it'd be worth kind of exploring that and asking her and helping her feel like she's okay, because she is. She just needs a little extra right now, and that's okay. Okay, Crystal, what's your question? Oh, what products do I use? So I use a L'Oreal like shampoo and conditioner, which is like not fancy, but it probably has silicone in it. So if you're against that, and I use Garnier Fructis curl cream. And so what I do is when I get out of the shower, I leave it really wet. I do not put it in a towel right away. I used to do that. I don't do that anymore. And I put the curl cream in it, and then I put it in a towel for like 10 or 15 minutes, and then I blow it dry. And it's still a little damp because I didn't have a lot of time. And then my hair dryer I invested. It's a lot, but I've never used a hair dryer so much. And it's like, it gives me body back here in the crown of my head, which I could never get that before. It would always be like this flat, like where I looked like I was a baby who never slept on any other position than on their back. Like, um, and it's the Shark Flex, and it's got a really great diffuser on it. It's big, and you can like change it for long hair or short hair. And it's like the best thing ever. And the diffuser doesn't fall off like the hair dryer I had before, and I had it for a long time. And I was just starting, like I have girls that all have a lot of hair, so it's just easier to have a nice hair dryer. But I've never used one so much because it was just like more of a pain to use it than it was to not use it. And now it's like amazing having this one. So she failed the last 2 quarters and now repeating online for math. They're not teaching her the way she needs to learn. So maybe she needs, instead of having learning online, maybe they need to have somebody come in the house and just work with her one-on-one. They are required to give her an education. If anything, if she's not getting what she needs and they're not listening to you, make sure you get yourself an advocate. And I'm pretty sure they do it for free. A student advocate is what you want to look into. Okay. Crystal, did you pay? You make sure you pay for that, Crystal. Otherwise, we can wait till next Sunday. That's fine. Hi, Julia. I'm about to bounce off. How are you? It's really because there's other products that are more expensive that I also like. Like Diva Curls is really nice. But between my daughters and I, we use so much product, and Garnier works and it's less expensive. So, I mean. Okay, that sounds good. All right, then. Julia, I'm going to say goodnight. Thank you for stopping by. So I will see you all next week. Lisa, good luck. Pop in and let us know how everything's going, okay? All right. Hasta luego. See y'all next week. Have a good one. Oop, that's not what I wanted to do.